This is a Sessions video tutorial, creating an HTML document.
Let's explore how to create a simple HTML document containing a couple of paragraphs, a list, and a few links. We'll begin by opening up the text we want to include on the web page in a text editor. I'm using TextMate for the Macintosh. You can also use, I suggest, TextPad for the PC. Here's some text about Napa Valley in California. To turn this text into an HTML document, first let's add the XHTML DOCTYPE declaration. I'm going to just copy and paste that right into there. You can see that it has the XHTML 1.0 transitional doctype right there. This allows the browser to know what type of code to expect in the rest of the page and therefore how to render it appropriately. Now we're going to move on to actually marking up content with HTML. What we're going to do is enclose the entire web page document in the HTML tag. You do that like this at the start and at the end. All HTML content is demarcated like this using tags. These tags indicate the structure of the document using which text is a header, which text is a paragraph, which text is a list item, and a link, and so on. Most elements require both an opening and closing tag like we have here for HTML. The opening HTML tag also includes a few attributes. These attributes, along with their values, provide extra information about the HTML element. And sometimes certain attributes are required for a particular type of element. Here, I'm going to add some attributes for the HTML element, again copying and pasting this from the source right here, so I have them all handy. And this lets the browser know how to interpret the HTML from here on out, and what language we have. It's set in English. Where we'll move on next is to declare the meta information about this document, and we do that with what's called the head tag. This header contains certain information about the document that is not displayed in the browser, including the title and metadata information. So let's add some metadata information right now. Okay, this metadata information is the information that you don't really see when you load up a web page in a browser, but it allows the browser to know what type of character sets, what type of characters, what type of computer language characters are in the document. So it's very important, and you need this meta information in order for the page to be rendered correctly. And if you notice, all elements either have a closing tag, which we talked about, or are self-closing. Here we have a self-closing tag, which is indicated by a space, a trailing slash, and the closing bracket right here, whereas our HTML element down here has a closing tag at the bottom. The next one I'll move on to is the title tag. Let me type that out, title, and put Wine World as our title. Remember to definitely put a title in here. This title is generally displayed in the top of the frame of the browser window. And when you bookmark a page, this title is used as the default bookmark name, so you want to pick something that's descriptive, and you also want to think about how you want your page title to look when you do a web search. How do you want the title, the main link of your page, to look in search results? So that's what you usually want to think about when you actually have a title up there. Next, we want to move away from the heading, which describes the meta information, and actually focus about marking up the body, the stuff that's actually in the body of the document that's displayed in the browser. So we're going to do that with the body tag at the start and closing. Body tag like so. Now let's take a look at defining the content within the browser within the body element. So first we come across the first heading. We want to wrap this to make sure that this is a big, bold heading, and I'm going to use an H1 like so. And the browser will by default render headers with this H1 as bigger and bolder than anything else on the web page. Next, I have another subheading. So I don't want it to be as big or as bold as the first one, so I'm going to go back down here and make it an H2, and make sure I have the closing tags for it. And then I have a couple of paragraphs in between here in the headings, so I'm going to add a paragraph. I'm going to mark those like that. Remember, you want to have the starting P tag, and also don't forget the closing P tag. And even though we have two paragraphs here, I need to make sure that each paragraph has its own closing P tag. A lot of students, a lot of professionals I see, just have a starting P tag and a closing P tag, and they use a BR tag to separate between paragraphs. That's either because they think the BR tag is forcing a line break, but most often I see that people are relying on their tools and just hit the return key, not really realizing what happens with the source code underneath the page. So we want to make sure that every paragraph has the P tag wrapped around it. Now we have to go down here. here we have this information that we want to have in list item form. So what we need to do is mark up this list with what's called an unordered list tag, which is a UL, and we also want a closing UL. The UL basically tells the browser, hey, the content that's in here is a list. And what we need to do now is go with this unordered list area and create a mark and find or demarcate the list items. So we've got the LI tag and the closing LI tag, and LI stands for list item. Browsers normally display unordered list items by indenting them and prefacing them with round bullets. Basically, they move the list item a little bit off to the left-hand side in order to make room for the bullets that get appended at the side of it. But this page just has a lot of text in it right now. What I want to do is add an image right below the Napa Valley Retreats area and just get people interested in the Napa Valley area. So what I'm going to do is add an image tag. And also, this is something I notice students always, well, not always, but that sometimes students forget to put is an alt tag. An alt tag allows you to have an alternative text in case a browser has images rendering turned off. And then also, since this is a tag that's alone by itself, there isn't a closing tag. But we're in an XHTML document. I need to have that marker, that space and trailing slash right here. And then I'm going to load into a browser, which I already have done right here, and we're going to take a look at it. And so what I have here is we have Wine World in our title set in the frame, and I also have Wine World right here set with our H1, and our subhead right here with H2, which as you notice is smaller but still bold, but still less weight than the H1 right here. And then we can see our paragraphs are marked up like so. We have our image of beautiful Napa Valley right here, and then we have some links, and then we also have some links right here with our list items. Okay.
Did you like this video? Then subscribe today to stay up to date on our channel or follow us on Google+, Twitter, and Facebook. Visit sessions.edu for more info on classes and admissions. Also, don't forget to check out the links to free downloadable content in the description. Thanks for watching.